Hello and welcome to a look at Santa's Christmas Xmas caper for the Amiga. A game that's a very different beast from the Commodore 64 version of the game with the same name. While Santa is out on his way to deliver his presents, one of his reindeers stumble and the sleigh crash lands, sending the presents all over the place, and of course Santa, needing to deliver said presents, are desperate to get them all gathered up, so he goes out and goes looking for them. That is the premise for this Christmas themed platforming game. And in Santa's arsenal, he has an infinite even amount of snowballs that he can throw at enemies, temporarily freezing them so he can move past them. It completely disables any collision between Santa and the enemies while they're frozen, and they are appropriately blinking to warn you that they are going to be unfrozen shortly, so you are not surprised by when they are suddenly free to move again. From a graphical point of view, certain sprites are a bit coarse. Santa himself looks like a grumpy old git, but then again, I have never met Santa, so he could be a grumpy old git for all I know. But thematically, I think the graphics are appropriate for those that made sense for. That's extra bonus points to you. But you know what I mean. It is a Christmas themed game, and everything looks sort of Christmassy. Being a platformer where you have to navigate different platforms and go looking for the presents, I should probably mention the interface thing at the bottom of the screen. You have your score, and then underneath to the left you have the amount of lives you have left, and then to the right you have the amount of gifts or presents that you have to gather on each level in order to progress to the next level. Once that number goes to 0, there is a big present at the end of the level that you have to jump into in order to progress to the next stage. The music, I should probably mention as well. I find it to be a bit psychedelic at times, but I can't deny that I found it somewhat catchy as well. So in that regard, I have no complaints. Bits of it sounds a bit overdone, but I suppose that is down to creative freedom. The gameplay loop is sort of simple, I guess, but you know what, that's perfectly okay. You don't have to have every single game out there being a reinvention of the wheel. So on that note, I have no complaints. But there is something, I can't remember where it is, but I've definitely seen this gameplay loop before. We'll probably work out what it is at a later point, but there is a certain element of recognition in this. Regardless, besides your power-ups, or besides your snowballs, you have access to a shield kind of power-up that you can get from time to time, which will basically work as a frost shield. So anything you touch while you're shielded will be automatically frozen like you'd hit it with a snowball. Some screens are more generous with them than others, and while they do flash in order to let you know that they are expiring, sometimes it can be a bit hard to see exactly when they expire, but it's not a game-breaking thing. I suppose being more observant might, I'd say, make all the difference. The challenge level of this game is not particularly high, I found. I didn't have to play many games in order to make good progression, so I suppose it's more for a bit of not overly complicated fun. And in that regard, this game definitely delivers. I mean, as you can see on that note there, it does have certain elements of precision, but not something that you can't work around relatively easily and quickly. When it comes to this kind of game type, platform, mainly run and jump games, it is not exactly my personal favorite kind of game. I will happily play them, but I wouldn't necessarily look forward to playing them. There's a few rare exceptions. The main exception being Impossible Mission for the Commodore 64, which is a run and jump platformer. If you look at it, it's got some added technicalities, I suppose, but by and large, it is not exactly my most favorite game type. But as a whole package, this is a enjoyable little game. Not exactly the most difficult, not exactly the most complicated, but it has the necessary Christmas theme, the necessary Christmas sounds, and it makes you feel good that you are doing all the kids a great service by not just saying, well, I lost presents, who cares, and you actually take the time to go out and gather them. Or maybe it gives you a feeling of nothing. Whatever, each to their own. But all in all, Santa's Christmas Caper, the Amiga version of the game, is more enjoyable, I found, than the Commodore 64 shoot 'em up version of the same, or not the same game, but game with the same name. This is far more appropriate for the theme, I would argue, and it is not nearly as frustrating and agitating as Commodore 64 version of Santa's Christmas Caper can be. So on that note, thanks for watching, take care, and see you next time. Bye bye for now.